Stop it.
You stop it.
Don't touch me there. That's my no-no square. Don't you laugh at my no-no square.
Places, please. 5 seconds.
The basis will be rye bread, Mother's idea. The simmer flame keeps the water boiling gently while the cheese is melting, so that Sally can go on to other tasks.
We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin.
Thank God it's
Friday and I wanna get loco.
Mojo.
Cool, shake my shimmy, coco.
Finally, Friday, I'm free again. I got my motor running for a wild weekend. Finally,
Friday night and the lights are low.
Mojo.
Monday, I have Friday on my mind.
Mojo.
When Black Friday comes,
That's how I roll.
Thursday, I don't care about you. It's Friday, I'm in love.
Mojo. Adjust your mojo now.
Jump out that sofa. Let's kick it. Friday, Saturday, Friday comes. I'm gonna stake my claim.
Mojo.
I guess I changed my name.
Radio with an attitude. This is your Daily Mojo. Freedom Friday edition.
No taxes. I was about to quote George H.W. No new taxes. No new taxes. But we'll get to the taxes here. This is breaking news right out of the gate. Ireland now is imposing a 125% tariff on all imported U.S. goods until we agree to take Rosie O'Donnell back. Thank you, Dr. Free Range Prisoner. We needed that. Doomsday talk this early, especially on a Friday. Let's talk about sex.
Shall we?
Okay. I'm telling you, the winning is just getting almost unbearable. And people like Chuck Schumer and the Prime Minister of Canada. I mean, all these people are just really... Yesterday, we posited that possibly Trump was playing 4D chess with the whole government shutdown thing. And I think that's what he was doing. Because Chuck Schumer has now come out. I mean, big time.
Yep, he blinked.
He's all, we can't shut the government down. That would be crazy. What were his words? I believe it's my job to make the best choice for the country to minimize the harms to the American people. Therefore, I will vote to keep the government open and not shut it down. They've got whiplash.
They've got whiplash.
They don't know what to do. They're swinging at windmills.
And he pissed off a lot of House representatives. I don't know about senators who have come out and said, no, we're going to stay with no. But, boy, he got AOC and Jasmine Crockett, and they're all losing their minds.
Gillibrand apparently was like screaming her head off in the meeting.
That's what I heard.
If you believe the reports. The press
they said you could hear them out in the hallway. Yeah.
It's been so easy up until this point. This is why they did not want Trump back in office.
Yeah.
Because he's smarter than they are. He's not playing the game. All these people who criticize, Trump's declared bankruptcy, 8 million times and blah, blah, blah. He's used bankruptcy as a tool.
I started saying it's not illegal to file bankruptcy.
No, it's there as a sign of failure.
Yep.
And, he's never filed bankruptcy personally. He's done it with companies.
Yep.
Again, capitalism is brutal. Not as brutal as Temptation Island, which we'll talk about later, because but it is brutal. And
nice.
It really is. I mean, but they're all tools. These people, and I love they take the moral, they appear to be trying to take the moral high ground. Well, bankruptcy is bad. He's a failure. But they also didn't read his books, The Art of the Deal. How... do you think Schumer has read his book?
I think if they didn't read the books during the first term, try to figure him out, they're done.
Right.
So I don't know if they've read them or not. It doesn't seem to be.
Surely some of them have.
Oh, yeah.
I would think. I mean, law of averages would say that. But, Trump had, 4 years and a whole bunch of people, likely sitting around thinking of all this stuff prior to 2024. Again, this is, like, as you said many times, this is the best possible outcome for the 2020 election.
Yeah.
Because we would not be sitting here in the catbird seat if it wasn't for the loss in 2020. He would not have had these 4 years to be studying up.
What seemed like something really bad in 2020 turned out to be something pretty decent in 2024 because he had 4 years to go. Yeah, I'm going to run again, and we're not doing it the same way this time.
Nope. They can't keep up with him. So, and the what was it Schumer was saying before he flip-flopped was that the Democrats had zero input on the continuing resolution?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But that doesn't make any sense because the continuing resolution just means everything stays the same. Right? You keep doing what you're doing, which didn't they come up with what we were doing in the budget? I mean, they were in charge the last 4 years. So the continuing, they had not only did they have some, they had all the input into the items in the continuing resolution. Schumer says, I believe allowing Donald Trump to take even much more power via a government shutdown is a far worse option. Because he's suggesting that Trump would then have the option or the power to open up specific areas of the government. We want the attention of the American people, this is what Schumer says, not focused on different bills that they would bring to the floor during the shutdown. We'd rather focus on our message.
Which is scattered as hell right now.
What is their message? Does anyone know?
Because Democratic messaging is full of shit.
I mean, yeah, Skeletor. According to him, the Democrat message is they're hurting the middle class to give tax breaks for the billionaires. Is anybody buying that anymore? Because
you are if you're a Democrat.
Right.
You're being sold.
If you are a low information voter, then yeah, you're buying it. Same people who are buying that he wants to kill trans people and hates the women and hates the gays. It's not hard to look this stuff up and figure it out. But if this is their message, that the Republicans and the Trump administration, I don't see the two as being the same.
They are not the same. I think
They're
the
really
Republicans are playing follow the leader right now.
Yeah,
I think with the exception of maybe Thomas Massey, but I think they're all feeling like they must follow him because the voters all decided that they were ready to follow Donald Trump and they want to keep their seats.
Yes. I just got to. They say they don't have a say in this one because no one has increases and no earmarks. Right. I mean, the bottom line is they had all of the input into this continuing resolution. And the reporters asked Schumer what had changed between Wednesday and yesterday. Because I was like, what the hell changed his mind? And he told reporters, as of yesterday, there were not enough votes to pass it. Okay. I thought I would let people know that, but there were a bunch of undecided votes, and as members study it and look at it, each is making his or her own decision. Are they? The Democrats especially fall right in line, in lockstep with each other.
They figured out that they would be held accountable for shutting the government down. That's what they figured out.
That was so obvious on the face of the whole thing, though, that how could you not have seen that going in? And again, it's a 4D chess move, and Trump did it again. I just really see the back to alternative. So this is the continuing resolution is going to last through the rest of the fiscal year, which ends in September. And at that point, we'll see. This gives the Trump administration enough time to continue on with what they're doing, cleaning the place up, sweeping out in the corners, and getting things right. Again, we're still spending too much money, but I think that's obvious. They know that too. They being the Trump administration and Elon Musk and all the rest. And for that matter, the Democrats know we're spending too much money as well. It's just that they want to keep spending money like drunken sailors. If you want to get your input into the program, the hashtag is what I learned today. You can, if you're not listening or watching live today, which is Friday the 14th, 14th day of March, the year of our Lord 2025, you can be watching at any point while we're live streaming on Facebook, which is sometimes dependable, sometimes not. Depends on what we say. Also on YouTube, same caveat there. On Rumble. And, of course, we have the dailymojo.com, and we're now on kick.com. So you can watch the stream there live at any time. We also have the Daily Mojo app, which you need to download that. We're going through some changes. We had some issues yesterday because
we figured those out. Yeah, by the way.
Okay. And it's look, if we were swimming in cash, we could, we'd get a lot of things done more quickly and more efficiently, but we're not swimming in cash. We tried it. We are on a budget, strangely enough.
Yeah.
All this budget talk, we're on a budget. And so it takes us a few more hoops. And when I say we, it's real Ron Phillips over there.
Well, what we figured out yesterday is the people who were having problems seem to be the people using the app on an iPad. And so for right now, until I get that fixed, I would recommend that you go to the dailymojo.com website on your iPad rather than using the app on your iPad. That's where our problem is. It seems to work fine on the iPhone, the Android, and the website works fine. So if you're using an iPad and you want to watch the show in full screen, go to the dailymojo.com website.
Did you just blame shift onto Apple?
I don't know.
Very artful.
Did I?
Very artful.
Yeah,
take credit.
I don't know why it wasn't allowing people. And we did it after the show yesterday, and Brad was like, "Yep, nope, doesn't let me get."
Nope. Little thingy changes, but that's it. That's the only thing that changes. XDM on the X says Ron is correct about the Republican Party. It's called populism. It's the political form of secular humanism. You move toward what is currently popular, not what is right or wrong. What did you say that?
Nothing. I said that they wanted
for me to grasp.
They wanted to follow the leader, and they wanted to keep their seats. That's why they're doing what Donald Trump wants them to do right now. Except Thomas Massey. Right. And I've sat down with Thomas Massey before. We had an hour and a half conversation off the record with him. This dude's smart, but boy, is he pissing people off.
No doubt. Well, but again, what is his plan to get these things done? I mean, we're either all getting conned by Trump in the biggest way.
Yeah.
I mean, he is either a Trojan horse, and if that happens, all right, I'll take my beating. Well, it won't matter because at that point we're doomed. If he's a Trojan horse, we're done. We're toast. We're like every other country on the planet. But if he's not, if he is what he says he is, and I think he is, because people I know, I've never met Trump, don't know him, but people I know who know him say he's legit. He loves America. From what I've seen, his actions convey to me that he loves the country and he wants to protect the country. And he's the most unlikely person to be in his position, once again proving that God is a comedian playing to an audience who was afraid to laugh. It really is true. I mean, if you had 20 years ago said Donald Trump is going to be the president of the United States, not only that, but he will go down in history as one of the top 3 presidents in our country's history.
People will be talking about him for hundreds of years. There's no question about it. If our country's still around, they'll be talking about him. Just like we still talk about Reagan and Lincoln and,
Yeah.
It's
Lincoln was a tyrant. I mean, that going back
Trump
to
will be seen
at
as
that,
a tyrant. You know that.
Well, they're trying to do that now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Lincoln, you can point to exactly. But you know what? We're people. We're human beings. Human beings are not perfect. We will never achieve utopia. It's not possible. So the best we can hope for is to get a balance somewhere in the middle that is best for the most people, and keep trying to fight the good fight against evil, because evil is always going to be there. It is right there. The wolf is always at the door. We just have to keep the wolf at bay. And as long as we can identify the evil, and that's the problem with it, is that for so long we've collectively had our eyes closed to the problem, because we as human beings don't want to see the fact that our government could be as evil as it has been. Despite the fact there are mountains of evidence throughout history that show us that it is. The intro to the show on Fridays with the duck and cover.
Yeah.
Everybody, I mean, the government is the one who came up with the duck and cover, which, just in case you weren't aware of the duck and cover program, back when we were, under constant threat of nuclear fallout from a nuclear war that I don't think would ever happen, but that's just me. The government was like, here's your recommendation. If you see the nuclear blast, the light in the sky, get under a picnic table.
Or your schoolroom desk.
Or your school desk. Yeah. Or it's like, no, that's not going to do shit. If you see the nuclear blast, you're probably going to be dead. So,
or blind.
Or blind, or your skin's going to peel off in big nasty sheets. So, they've lied to us forever, up and into including present time.
It was to preclude panic. That's all that's for, is to give you some false security that crawling under a desk is going to save you.
Right. And it's not. And they repeated it again with the Rona, that they had the solution, and they didn't. And it is now coming back and biting us in ways that we did not. Well, some people saw it.
Yeah.
They are trying again to. This is. Hang on. Let me put this over here because this is just rich, as they say. The headline at space.com: the next ice age is coming in 10,000 years unless climate change prevents it. So there you go. We're going to have an ice age in 10,000 years, according to space.com. And who's behind space.com, Ron?
I don't know. Basically, what that headline is saying is evolution is going to take place over the next 10,000 years.
Evolution of the climate? Yeah,
of the Earth. Climate. Yeah, is going to take place over the next 10,000 years. Well, thank you there.
Hashtag
Captain
weather
obvious.
Happens. Right. Unless, of course, the sun goes supernova in that time and we go away. But
I don't know who's behind space.com.
Space.com was started by Lou Dobbs from CNN.
Huh.
I had no idea.
Me
it was
either.
started back in 1999 by Lou Dobbs and who was the other dude? Rich Zaradnik. Dobbs was the CEO. Zaradnik was the first president of the company. On the board of Space.com, Neil Armstrong, Sally Ride at Space.com. The Paine-Weber, Venrock and Associates, and Space Vest were the early investors. Lou Dobbs owned a big piece of the company, and then he went back to, because it wasn't making any money, he went back to CNN after that happened. It is now, in 2018, along with other Perch consumer brands, it was sold to Future PLC, and it is I don't know much about Future PLC, but it does say that their content is now licensed primarily to people like CNN, which, again, tells you just about everything you need to know, because CNN is fake news. It's CNN, MSNBC, Yahoo, and USA Today. There's a who's who in the who you can't trust field.
Yep.
Right? It was founded July 20th, 1999, on the 30th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing. So it's always fun when you go back in time and just look how these things came about, and who you can and can't trust, because it's sad that you can't trust, for frick's sake, space.com. Because you'd think, man, it's space.com. Right? Damn it. You know who you can trust? You can trust the people. Hold on a second. Let me decide who you can trust here. You can trust the people at preparewithmojo50.com. That's who you can trust. Damn it. Until you can't trust them. We're not there yet. Which is why we get picky about who we get in bed with. Well, maybe that's a poor analogy, because most of the time we're picky about people we get in bed with. But as far as advertising is concerned, our partners, our sponsor partners, like preparewithmojo50.com, that'll take you right back to My Patriot Supply, the good people. I wonder if they ever sell it, because remember Liberty Safe?
Yeah.
Liberty Safe was the schniz until they sold it. And remember and
then they got on the bad side of somebody. I remember that.
Well, that's because they provided the cops, the FBI, with the back end combination to a dude's safe.
Open safe. Yeah, that's exactly right. I remember that now.
It's like, whoa, wait a second, Liberty, what the hell happened? And then we discovered, they've been sold to somebody else. So, sorry about you. I love my Liberty Safe, but I wouldn't trust the company as far as I could throw them at this point. Although they say, we've changed that policy. We're not going to. Yeah, right. Maybe down the line, the next generation will trust you again, but that's what happens. You took it and you pissed all over the brand. That hasn't happened yet with My Patriot Supply or preparewithmojo50.com. Happened with the wellness company.
Yeah, it did.
Life is full of disappointments, isn't it? And again, I'm not saying anything about the products the wellness company sells. Fabulous. The way they do business behind the scenes, not so fabulous. Capitalism is brutal, but, try being, the word ethical I'm looking for.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the word.
Because I would say what they did was unethical.
It was.
So, but hey, you want to get in bed with the unethical folks at Wellness Company? Be my guest. In the meantime, have some food set aside for, the next big disaster. If it is a nuclear bomb that drops near you, the food will keep you until you turn into a big pile of goo. It'll at least keep you full. Except the irony there is that if you get radiation sickness, I think that wipes away your appetite, doesn't it?
Oh, I don't know. Never had it.
You never had radiation sickness?
No, I have not.
Huh. So you did the whole duck and cover thing whenever you saw the bomb.
Of course I did.
Good for you. See, You're one of the smart ones. Anyway, go get some emergency food and get it at preparewithmojo50.com.
Thank God it's Friday.
Hey, where are the white women at?
The Daily Mojo.
Speaking of white women, it was, where did I put that quote? We were listening to Blondie before the program started.
Yeah.
And, for those of you not unfamiliar with Blondie, Debbie Harry was the lead singer of the group. And fabulous voice. Blondie was a great group. And there was a piece over at Toronto.com. Debbie Harry would perform nude. Debbie Harry is 71 years old. Excuse me. Hold on. Wait a second. Because that was
in 2017 that she said
2017.
That. Yeah.
And the story says the 71-year-old Blondie singer. Wait a second. How does that pop? Is she 80? She's 79.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Debbie Harry is 79 years old. And to her credit, again, she says in this story that she used to take her clothes off all the time on stage. She says, but she doesn't think her audience would be too happy if she did it now.
When was that picture taken that you showed me?
Oh, it was in the 70s.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah. Now we know why they
I see what you're doing.
Why they call her Debbie Harry. Because she had a lot of hair.
She sure
I don't know
did.
What the hell you're talking about? She says she's still proud of her body, and she admits that age has taken its toll on the physical aspects of her performance. Getting old is a bitch, is it not? Dogie continues their fabulous run. Man, Dogie brings out some strong emotions either way. Does it not? Johns Hopkins University said yesterday that it will be cutting more than 2,000 jobs after it lost $800 million in funding from the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID. They were getting grants from the National Institutes of Health as well. They got, how much did we figure? Because at one point we were looking for the reason that these universities and these hospitals were like going along with all of the Rona stuff and suggesting and masks and everything else. It's like, okay, wait, they're medical professionals. They know better. Why are they doing this? Oh, that's right, because money. Why are they getting, right there, $850 million from NIH? Or was it somehow fun? Is this the same $800 million? I don't know. So they either got $1.6 billion between the grants from NIH and USAID, or they're talking about the same thing here. The bulk of the layoffs at the research university will impact its international employees. 1,975 employees across 44 countries have been cut. Another 247 jobs terminated in the United States. It sucks when you lose your job. I get it. But this money that's going to these universities and these medical facilities and research facilities is dangerous because the borrower becomes slave to the lender, which is exactly what happened during the Rona. That's how we got lied to so much. That is, it is. This is a good thing. Like most things, it's good and bad. 100 additional workers will be furloughed with reduced schedules. This is a difficult day for our entire community. The termination of more than $800 million in USAID funding is now forcing us to wind down critical work here in Baltimore and internationally. Adding it was proud of the work its employees have done to care for mothers and infants, puppies and cute little kittens, and little baby rabbits with little twitching noses. So soft and fuzzy, and you just want to hold on to them and pet them. What? They also fight disease, provide clean drinking water, and advance countless other critical life-saving efforts around the world. Oh, yeah, and, we lied to you during the Rona, and we fired a bunch of people for not taking the
jab. Yeah.
But, other than that, we're pretty good people here. The job cuts are the largest layoffs in the university's history. If you were counting on grants and money from USAID, what? Okay, so they're talking about locations in other countries, right? Obviously, because I just said that. 44 countries. I'll give you, I don't know much about the setup of places like Johns Hopkins University. I don't know what the structure of it is. But it seems to me, if we're talking about the United States Association or Agency for International Development, whatever it is, international development.
Yeah.
So did they have to open up new locations in other countries to take advantage of this? And like countries like Germany, France, pick a country, do they have programs where their government will give money to companies from Germany or France or whatever that have set up shop here in the United States? You know what I'm saying? We seem to be the only ones doing that sort of thing.
Right, and all of this is coming out in the last, 53 days, 54 days, where we're all realizing, wait a damn minute, we were spending billions of dollars that, number one, we didn't even know we were spending, or very few people did, and number two, we've still got veterans and homeless living on the streets.
Yep.
And veterans who can't get into VAs. And there's a lot of other things out there, obviously, but man, why?
We knew we were $37 trillion in debt, but we weren't.
How did we get there? Now we know.
Right. We weren't clued in on exactly where it's like, oh shit. We were spending money on what? Again, if you were a private entity and that you came in and got audited, or somebody was going to buy your company and you're $37 trillion in debt, and they came in and looked at your books, which is what happened at the other place with one of the potential buyers, came in and looked at the books and went,
What'd they say? The U.S. is run by 536 people.
Yeah.
For
as a representative republic,
700 million people run by 536 or whatever it is.
Are you trying to do math?
I'm trying to. It's too damn early.
Don't do the math. The maths are hard.
It's just
don't. It's irritating.
It seems like the 536 or how many ever it is are just trying to hide morons? Where the money's going from the other 700 million.
And that happened somewhere in the last 250 years. Did it happen the day after George Washington went home? Did it start then? Did it start, 100 years later, 50 years, whatever it was? Did people within the government decide, oh, man, this is a cash cow. Watch this. Again, in my lunch the other day with the FBI insider. I don't want to say that too loud. I don't want too many people to hear. But it's this power system inside the government. When you're up there, and you could be thinking you are doing God's work, working within the system of the government, and you get a little taste of the power and the money, and a lot of it is the power, where you get to do something that maybe is a little iffy on the fringes of the law, but you did it for a good reason. You had to do it. You did bad guy orchestra, whatever it was, but you just you dipped your toe in there. And then the next time you go, I'll try it again. And it's a snowball. Remember the push, the quasi documentary, I think it was Netflix, where they picked people and had them do a series. It was a series of tests, basically. The people didn't know they were being tested. But, the first thing was a little white lie. And the second thing was, a little bit bigger lie. And it eventually got to the point where, they had to help hide a body. And the ultimate
was the push. Yeah.
Was the push of the people, what the people that were in this test, again, didn't know that it was a test, had to push somebody off of a roof because it was for the best. And at least a couple of them did it. I mean, so it's little baby steps, little bitty baby steps, which can turn into really bad things. Looking at the Rumble chat room, turning the freaking frogs gay. Wombat mommy. The VA tried to kill me several times. Shut them all down, Backquarter says. That's the other thing about the VA is what a pigsty fustercluck. And it shouldn't be. It should be the best of the best.
It should be.
It should be. But that's not what it is. It's like the free clinic, but probably worse from all the stories I've heard. And it should absolutely not be that. But
well, in most cases, you have people who have never served in the military trying to serve the veterans at the VA hospitals, at the VA offices. They have no clue what these people went through, or how to deal with them.
Right. Exactly. No. Is Phil here yet?
Phil is on, but he's not sitting in the chair right now. He's
okay.
Doing something.
All right. We'll get. You know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make an executive decision here.
Okay.
When we come back, and it's going to feel like we didn't even go away. I mean, that's how fast it's going to be. When we come back, we're going to talk with Phil Bell, and I just saw this headline about Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
We'll do that next here on the Daily Mojo.
If you're offended, you're listening wrong. The Daily Mojo.
It's the Freedom Friday edition. No taxes. We'll get to that story coming up, and also the infamous Phil Bell will be joining us here momentarily. I have not read this story. I just now saw it on the other computer monitor from the AP. So it's, take it for what it's worth from the AP. Gene Hackman's estate asks the court to block the release of death investigation records.
Why would they do that?
To be fair, maybe there's gross stuff about, the body. Well, no.
Maybe.
I mean, we've already heard that. Dead bodies sitting there for, whether it was my dad or, if their kids, their parents to their kids. If my dad was found in that situation and, it's just gross and disgusting, I wouldn't have a problem. Release the records.
It's a family privacy kind of thing. I get it. They feel like they need the privacy.
But death records are public.
Death records are public, and he was a public figure up until he passed away, Well,
he still is
yeah.
Not so much a figure anymore, still public, though. But, and everybody loved him. I love Gene Hackman. I want to know what happened. But they're seeking to block the public release of the autopsy and investigative reports, especially photographs and police body camera video related to the... Would I care if my dead dad was seen? No, I don't think I would. Gene Hackman would care. For the record here, if I'm found dead somewhere and y'all want to see the pictures of me dead, all right, I hereby give it the okie dokie. So this could be exhibit number 15 in the when my death is being investigated, and they're like, oh, we can't. Now here is Brad right here saying he said you could see, so go ahead and look. You may not want to look, but that's up to you. Joining us now from the Washington, D.C. swamp, which is getting drained, by the way.
It is.
Our very own correspondent, Phil Bell, also train aficionado. And one day you have to wear the whole train engineer getup,
okay,
like the whole costume.
You don't have to. Don't threaten me with a good time, Brad.
I can only imagine what happens at your house on a Friday night. Diddy ain't got nothing on you. All right, so what? I can't even remember what the hell we were going to talk about. Hang on a second. Let me look. Let's see. Oh, the economy. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And Snow White, and and Kamala Harris's chair. Let's talk about the economy first.
Yeah.
Let's get that.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. There's so many things going through my head right now. You get the floor.
Well, first of all, I just want to say I am not sitting in Kamala Harris's chair. Okay, this chair has no specifications. It just has to be comfortable. I got to be able to sit in it. But I think it's really interesting. We got to talk about the economy because this has become something of a talking point for the far left in their still futile attempts to try to slow President Trump down. And what was really interesting that came out this week is Howard Lutnick, who is the Commerce Secretary, said something really interesting. And that was President Trump's goal is no taxes, income taxes, for anybody earning under $150,000. And I think this is both good and bad. So it's good in that we are getting to the point where you finally have a government that recognizes that there is no real reason to have the income tax. Everybody thinks that we're paying an income tax because there's a soldier over here that needs socks or because there's a road over here that needs to be maintained. But as I always tell people, the government is the biggest consumer of the things it purchases. That's why the prices should not be going up the way that they do. But the problem that I'm concerned about with no taxes under $150,000, although I'd love it because I don't earn over $150,000 in case the IRS is listening, is that I want everybody to pay some tax so that everybody has some skin in the game of how government works. Because if you notice, the people who don't pay any taxes, the poorest people, the people living in the housing authority and so on, they get ignored by the government because they don't have any stake in what the government is doing. And that's something I worry would happen if we all of us under 150K were not earning or not paying taxes.
That valid point. Is it possible that this is a 4D chess move on the part of Trump, which you start with what the ultimate would be, and then you negotiate from there? I mean, does it? I guess that's a possibility.
Oh, absolutely. And look, I think, first of all, if this comes to pass, it would be outstanding. And you will not see me complaining or whining or anything about that without a doubt. And I think this is a good way, but I'll disagree with you on one thing. I don't think it is the ultimate. I think this is really the beginning salvo, because a good way to negotiate with terrorists, and the Democrats are terrorists, as we've seen, is to simply say, okay, here's a reasonable thing that we want. And frankly, earning $150,000 now is not that much money. It's not that much money in any major metropolitan area, right? So saying that somebody who's earning under $150,000, which is going to be a middle class income, you may be able to afford a home, that kind of thing, and you would pay no tax. And when they say no to it and they start going on their diatribes about how this thing isn't going to get funded or that thing, and say, okay, well, you know what? Now the deal has changed. Now we're going to take it up to $200,000. Now we're going to negotiate from there and keep pushing them to let them be as absurd as possible.
Right. Which is kind of what he just did with. Do you think Schumer is feeling the sting of getting hit upside the head with a baseball bat?
Oh, absolutely. And it was kind of interesting. A lot of the conversation yesterday on Fox Business focused on the idea that this was Schumer's last stand and that he had mismanaged things so poorly last year when he could have solved this problem. And now again this year that the Democrats may try to throw him out and put somebody like an Amy Klobuchar, who, by the way, is not any better, in charge, and give them a different ability to try to fight back against the president. So I think that he is not only really feeling it, but he could be in a terminal situation. as far as his minority leadership.
These people aren't as smart as what I think a lot of people give them credit for. I think that for whatever reason, there are a lot of people out there who think people like Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and the rest of them are really smart, really sharp when it comes to negotiations. I don't think they are. They've never had to, in a real sense, negotiating, because when you hold all the cards, it's not really a negotiation. You let happen what you want to let happen. But Trump is in there and he's actually negotiating in the way that he's a master negotiator, obviously. They don't know how to do it, it would seem. I mean, that's what I come away with after watching this fustercluck in the past couple of weeks. They don't know what negotiation really is.
Well, you're right. And it's not just that they don't know what negotiation is. They don't really understand much of anything other than self-promotion. Because look at how quickly everything cracked when all Trump did was came in and said, okay, you see all these things that are terrible? We're not going to do them anymore. They didn't have the ability to do anything other than go out and do everything short of twerking. And yes, we're looking at you, Jasmine Crockett, to try to get a message out and to try to get any kind of traction. They can't negotiate with him. They can't really negotiate with each other. They can't negotiate with any other Republicans. And they don't have the ability to articulate a vision, because the reality is their vision has always just been command and control for so long. They've forgotten how to do any of this, if they ever knew in the first place.
Because Democratic messaging is full of shit.
I think that's the case. It really is. And what we've all been told were legit negotiations in the past when, Republicans and Democrats in Washington would get together and negotiate. They weren't negotiating. They were just going, okay, what can we all get away with here that we're not going to get so much pushback from the great unwashed that we can, they're not going to fly. That will just, again, the con has been exposed, and it's really a marvelous thing to watch. It's great to watch that. It's fabulous to watch countries like Canada and their prime minister. What did it take? 24 hours for them to go, wait, hold on just a second. Hell, even probably Greenland. I get the 24 minutes. Yeah, it's probably more like. I wouldn't be surprised if Greenland at some point is like, okay, well, you can come on in. You can annex us. Because it wouldn't, Greenland, when you look at it, first of all, Greenland is very icy. Right. It looks like a miserable place to live. I don't know why in the hell you'd want to live in Greenland. Because, and I don't even, what is their industry? What's their economy even run on? Ice?
That's a great question.
Do they export something?
I don't know. I think there probably has to be natural resources and fishing and so forth. That's my guess. I have to admit I'm a little negligent in that I've never really examined their economy. The only thing I know is that they don't have a railroad. And I said, wait a minute, you don't have a railroad? Wow.
Right.
Someone needs to come fix that, President Trump. Are you listening? But what's interesting, though, is there is the belief they have a lot of rare earth metals that could potentially come into our economy, and that would help us reduce the dependence on the Chinese for a lot of those. So you think about your cell phones, computers, the televisions, and so on. That is where Greenland could be valuable. And then also, if you think about from a defensive standpoint, we know that Russia is always going to be a belligerent in some form. They're probably just going to go back and forth between being reasonable as things were for a while to being unreasonable as where they are now. And so having the added ability to fortify ourselves and at least in a potential wartime scenario, be able to launch things from Greenland would be helpful.
According to Wikipedia, that bastion of truth and honesty, the economy of Greenland characterized as small, mixed, and vulnerable. Their economy consists of a large public sector and comprehensive foreign trade, resulting in an economy with periods of strong growth, considerable inflation, unemployment problems, and extreme dependence on capital inflow from the kingdom government. Greenland's economy is hampered by lack of infrastructure, with less than 100 miles of paved roads. Well, no wonder they don't have a road. They barely have paved roads. They were trying to emerge territory rich with untapped mining resources. Okay, yeah, I mean, and fish. You're right. So, other than that, they've got
and nobody's
really
living there. Yeah, nobody's really. He doesn't have a big population.
That's because it's cold as hell. It looks miserable. I mean, like all their houses are built into the side of an ice bank. It just does not look like a pleasant place unless you just are really into being cold. Ugh.
Right.
Doesn't look like fun. And I'm going to back just for a second. As I was looking at a fascinating website called irs.gov. The history of the I know, right? The history of the income tax. Yeah, I'm hoping that anybody that had any. But I was going to say the people who were looking into me. I'm hoping they got fired. I mean, I would hate it if they lost their job. That's what I meant to say. 1862, Lincoln signs the law, revenue-raising measure to help pay for the Civil War expenses. That's when they created the Commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service and the first income tax. 3% tax on incomes between $600 and $10,000. Is that where they came up? Because you remember the new they were going to start taxing anybody over $600, like on Etsy and eBay and all that stuff.
Right. No, because remember,
is that where they came up with it?
Well, no, that was just them deciding they wanted to steal, and that was Democrats doing so in a very unfettered way, which was so extreme that I believe that got rolled back. That was one of the things that got rolled back even under Biden, but that was also something that they did under Biden. But what was interesting is they created that income tax to pay for the Civil War. Then they got rid of it. But later on, of course, they got greedy again and said, look, we're going to bring an income tax back. But like you said, it's only going to be at certain income levels. And the way they sold it is they told people who were poor and middle class, this is the way that we are going to stick it to the rich. And people bought it. They said, oh, that's cool. But what they really meant to say is the way we're going to prevent you from becoming rich. And, you know, we like to laugh at that, but the reality is the biggest prophylactic toward building wealth is the fact that you have to pay an income tax. So if you earn money from equities, investments, bonds, and so on, it's so much easier to build wealth. That's why the people who are wealthy tend to get wealthier, because they'll put their money into that. But you who might just say, I'm going to kill myself at work, I'm going to do all of this, I'm going to work late, I'm going to show up early, I'm going to do all these things. Sure, you see your salary go up, but then you see the income tax bite go up.
The top income tax rate from 1944 through 1963 was 90%. In 1944, top taxpayers paid an income tax rate of 94% on their taxable income. 94%.
But it didn't happen. Whew. That's the thing. If you were at the point where you were able to earn, you know, that you would be subject to the 94% tax, there were so many write-offs and other shelters, which, by the way, are not loopholes. And Rush Limbaugh would always remind us they are not loopholes. They're put into the tax code for this reason. So basically they can go out and tell people, look, we're going to stick it to them. We're going to make them pay 94%, but actually we're going to bring it down. One of the best examples of that is JP Morgan. And I know I don't want to get too wonky, but the JP Morgan, those companies would always run at a loss. And one of the reasons for that is that way their partners like him would not have to pay the extortionate taxes.
Unbelievable. All right, let's move on to this.
A place of fairness. Wipe the queen. Change everything.
Take him away,
Your Majesty.
I don't know about you,
The people need some kindness.
but I just can't wait.
Don't remember you being this opinionated.
Well, that's an ironic quote, isn't it?
Magic.
It's an ironic. That's an ironic scene to put in the trailer. That's pretty wild. So yeah, Snow White comes out in 7 days. So next Friday, it will bust onto the scene, and I don't know how many. I mean, do you think a dozen people are going to go see it?
I mean, first of all, I would probably call that snow black because it's so dark. Yeah, wow. That I had not seen any of the previews. One of my good friends was telling me about how, the movie was completely woke. That's where I came with the idea, to talk about this today. And I did some of the reading and saw Rachel Zegler, who is Snow White, but does not like anything about Snow White, and decided to go out and tell everybody that she hates every aspect of Snow White, and therefore that everything that we know about Snow White is not going to be included at all. So why would you want to be part of a movie with a story you hate to go out and say, I hate it, everything short of don't watch it? And of course, most people looking at this and saying, there's no way I'd want to watch it, and nothing that you're showing here seems like something you'd want to take a child to see.
No, the seven dwarves are absolute nightmare fuel. They are just
Anybody here?
because they were going to do it live action, although now they're saying, well, that was just a test. We weren't really gonna. And then because they didn't have any dwarves in the movie, then Peter Dinklage et al. Got really upset, and so then they decided, okay, we'll create these freaks of nature here. And it was like, it really is just dumb.
Yeah, but the reason I wanted to talk about it is to highlight the fact that we are going to have to fight woke. All this is nothing but wokeness, right? First of all, Snow White, you would cast a white actress. It would make sense. That's kind of Snow White. That's what you do. No, they can't do that.
Racist.
Secondly,
you are such a racist, Phil Bell. I cannot even believe wow. Who knew? Ron, I'm not sure we can have Phil back. He's a racist.
I want to clarify. I'm a racist, sexist, bigot, and homophobe, and I do it all at the same time.
You are very, very well balanced, I would have to say.
Very well balanced.
Thank you.
Very well balanced. Good for you. But no, you're right. I mean, we're going to have to continue. It's not like woke is just going to lay down and die. They're going to keep trying.
And woke is, and this is the problem with woke. So we can remove it from government, but as a lot of commentators say, and I agree with this, politics lives downstream from culture. So the way that all of this was able to get started in the first place is you saw influencing the culture, and this started, way back in the 19-teens and the 1920s, and a lot of this stuff that you would see our fathers and mothers and grandfathers and grandmothers say, oh, well, that's just crazy, and if you had ever said you wanted to be a part of it, they would have slapped you. But as time went on, it got to be a little bit more normalized, all because people would say, well, wait a minute. I don't want to be impolite. I don't want to be mean. Okay, just leave them alone. You're not doing it. It's fine. And then suddenly it was all over the culture. So therefore, we voted it into office and politics.
It really is. I mean, we all knew that and said it on more than one occasion that being politically correct was going to be the death of us. And yet, nothing ever really happened in a meaningful way to push back on it. I mean, the only real way that I personally pushed back was being as politically incorrect as I possibly could, because it's fun. And that, I mean, it was, you gotta keep pushing back. But the majority of people, again, don't want to have a bunch of friction in their lives. Understandably, life is tough enough as it is, but now the fight has escalated because, we were all trying to be nice, and this is what happens when you give the tyrants an inch. They take the whole damn mile, and we can't let them do that again.
Exactly. And it's, and I can't remember, I mentioned this on a previous episode. There's a scripture somewhere that basically says when you clean all the demons out of a house, you've got to put the good in there, or else the demons are going to come back 7 times stronger. They're going to bring all their friends. Well, we're seeing a lot of the crazy stuff get cleaned out of Washington, D.C. right now. But rest assured, if we don't encourage our fellow Americans. And that's not just the people who we say, oh, well, Brad's a great patriot. So it's not just people like you and I. It's the average everyday person that we associate with, but we don't necessarily talk about politics or culture with. We try to avoid. If we don't help them understand why what's going on now is a problem and why it has to be stopped, then it's going to come back even worse, because you see how angry the far left is about having their bailiwick being disrupted, right? Well, what do you think would happen if in 2 years or 4 years they get back in power? Then they're going to try everything to nuke us short of actually dropping the bomb on us.
Yeah. Matthew 12, by the way, verse 43 through 45. And that's the thing about the way that Trump has been governing this time, really going at it hard, because he realizes that we have to fight back bigly. I mean, there was no way of doing what needed to be accomplished. I hate to say within the confinement of the rules, but because he hasn't broken any rules, has he?
Correct. No, he's following the rules, but there are the laws and the constitutional boundaries, and then there are the rules of engagement. Now, that's the thing that he has broken, the rules of engagement, which are not actual rules. And those have always said that we were going to more or less only nibble around the edges of government. Well, all right, you can cut a little thing over here, or you can reform that agency, and reform just means, oh, you change the name and maybe you move a few people to a different area, and that's what you do, and then you say that you change things and call it a day. That was the rule of engagement, and that's what Republicans would do and Democrats would do if things ever got too hot. Now Trump has come in and said, no, the rules of engagement don't apply anymore. This beast is evil. We got to cut it down to size, and by down to size, I mean microscopic, and then basically put it in a concrete box so it can't get out. And that's what he's successfully done. Or succeeding in doing. Yeah. Not yet. Succeeding in doing.
Yeah. The fight continues. And we have all of these judges who are out there trying to put the kibosh on, the layoffs and the dismissing of probationary employees, et cetera, et cetera. And I know these judges, ironically, aren't necessarily operating within the bounds of the law, are they? I mean, all of this pushback from the judicial side against the executive branch, do they have, I mean, again, Trump has the power to decide who gets shuffled off to Buffalo, right? I mean, that's to work in these agencies. But these judges are saying, wait a second, you're overstepping your bounds.
Remember what the Constitution says. The executive power is vested in the president. So therefore, the president gets to determine who works in the executive branch. He gets to determine how they get paid. He gets to determine all of these things. He has the executive power and the power to hire and fire and manage the people who work for him. And all of the people in the bureaucracy, they work for him. There are some agencies that, might be part of Congress, but the executive departments work for the president, so yes, he can. Now, the thing to remember, though, and this is why even the judges that are on the list from the Federalist Society that we were all hailing 8 years ago, the problem is, with the exception of Clarence Thomas back behind me, you've got to remember that the judges get paid by the government. The judges have the money to pay them appropriated by the government. So they're sitting here saying, well, I've got a lifetime appointment. I can be free to look at things as politically as I want to. And oh, by the way, if I decide to go along with this, then I've got to worry about the people who pay me about what they're going to do in the future. Are my chambers going to be as nice? Is my coffee going to be the way I want it to? I don't know. So therefore, I'm going to rule in favor of government. So even some of the best jurists, when it comes down to something about the power of government, we've got to expect they're probably going to side more with the beast as opposed to the people.
And I always have to remind myself that judges are just lawyers in nicer robes. That's all they are.
Yeah. That's it.
This speaking of lawyers, I do want to get to Kamala's chair, but the whole brouhaha over Perkins Coie. Can you break that down? Because they are that was the law firm that represented Hillary Clinton that came up with the the Steele dossier, the Russia PP hoax tape, all of that stuff. What is Trump doing to this law firm? Because I'm seeing all these headlines that say, man, it's gonna cease to exist if he is allowed to continue his retribution or punishment against Perkins Coie.
Well, let's also remember Perkins Coie played a big role in a lot of the election cases that were going on that allowed for the steal in 2020. So they didn't just stop with Christopher Steele. They also got into election stealing too. Basically what he said is, look, we're going to bar them from federal buildings, not let them go into courthouses and so on. So that, of course, makes it kind of difficult for them to do their job of when they're not representing far left loons, or even when they are, going to the places where they have to go in order to do their jobs. So I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly how that case is going to play out. I obviously hope that it does play out in Trump's favor. But the thing to think about for all of those, because I know there are going to be a lot of people on our side that say, wait a second, Phil, if you want to see Perkins Coie banned from federal buildings, well, what happens if they decide to ban Phil Rail from federal buildings? Well, I'd say, again, don't threaten me with a good time. But secondly, you have to think about what the left did, and the way to solve this problem is simply by agreeing to make your case in the court of the public opinion, as opposed to using lawfare. Lawfare, where they've twisted the laws, twisted the Constitution, twisted civil procedure, and everything else out of bounds, and made it into a super, how should I put it, kind of super law that is untouchable by the everyday American in order to control how we live. That was never envisioned by the founders. And what has to be done is to stop that. And so if that means making Perkins Coie into a scapegoat, I'm okay with it.
Does he have the power to do that?
Maybe. I don't know. I got to be honest. I can't play legal analyst on TV because I'm not an attorney. But I think it is possible. What is possible is you think about, there is no shortage of ability by the government to restrict entry into the properties that it manages. Great example, if you drive down one of the main roads near me, the CIA headquarters is nearby, and they've got big signs out there that say no unauthorized entry, and oh, by the way, don't come in here, turn around and go back, we will arrest you. Now, how is that any different than saying, okay, well, Perkins Coie, you can't go in, it's unauthorized for you to enter the federal courthouse? There is no difference. The only argument I could see them making is, well, that's precluding them from plying their trade. But you could also say that if I'm a door-to-door vacuum salesman and I want to sell something to the CIA because clearly they need to clean things up, you got to let me in too. And they'd say, no, we don't. So it's very hard to make that distinction and allow the government to control some access, but not all.
That's really smart. That was a really good analysis. Because I was trying to figure out that, I mean, you reminded me of Doc just then. He had a way of making things very understandable to even thick people like me. Because obviously, this law firm, I mean, to say crooked lawyer is repeating yourself, but that's what Perkins Coie is full of. I mean, we know what they are. They hate Trump. They have TDS. They're willing to do it for $1. And, the capitalism is brutal.
Don't stop.
All right, on to...
it's ADS, American People Derangement Syndrome. Because
yes.
ADS,
yeah, you're right.
Because they want to stop us.
Yep.
They don't care about him. It's us.
That's true. That's a good point. And finally, we finally come to the reason that Kamala lost the election, and I don't know how we did not see it was this simple, but in fact, it was her chair, which is just so we find. Is this a book? This book is coming out. It's the book is called "Fight Inside the Wildest Battle for the White House" by Jonathan Allen and Amy Parnes. There's a section in it about the chair. Did you read it?
I did. And I got to tell you, first of all, I did not know that anybody short of people who actually make furniture would be able to come up with strict specifications for a chair.
I wondered that
to be
same
used on a
thing
campaign.
too. I wondered the same thing, and it stems back to that first interview that she did with, was it 60 Minutes, whoever the hell it was, when she and Walls got up there, and we all thought at the time, she looks like a 10-year-old sitting at the grown-ups table sitting back there, which was a bad visual. Why the hell did anybody say, this is a good setup? That's great. Stay right there. That was whoever decided to allow that to happen was a moron.
And why did she need to go on with him? Because remember, the president is supposed to be leading the country. It's not the president having their hand held by the vice president. So already, not only did she look like she was way too small, but then she has this other guy who's there, and I don't even think now granted, he doesn't really know why he's anywhere, but he's probably sitting there like, what am I doing in this interview? Just to be her, what is it, snuggle blanket or whatever. So that was dumb. But you know what this really reminds me of? I don't know how many people out there are New York Met fans, but way back when Mo Vaughn, he came over from the Angels, the California Angels, and he was going to be this big savior for the Mets, and then suddenly he forgot how to hit. So he blamed the problem on his bats. He said, oh, my bats are too heavy. That's what this sounds like. He can't hit because his bats are too heavy. Kamala Harris couldn't win the presidential election because her chair was not the right height.
Right. And it really was. I mean, it was the leg height should be no less than 15 inches. Floor to top of seat height, no less than 18.9 inches. Arms on chairs may not be very high. Arms must fall at a natural height. Chairs must be firm.
Could you see all of the soy boys on the campaign with measuring tape? And they're like, okay, you know, they've got like pajama boys and they're measuring. Nope, this is 19 inches. It's not 18.9.
We need a shorter chair. We need a shorter chair. Someone get me a shorter chair. And where is her latte? And the last one was Luke. It better not be Luke. I want this. It's steaming latte. Steaming. When the real stories come out, it is going to be so entertaining.
I'm buying that book. It's going to be great. I have got to read this.
I think I'm with you on that one. All right, this weekend, what are we doing with the trains?
Well, this weekend is my birthday, so my getting together with friends
Happy
tomorrow.
birthday.
We're going to celebrate. Thank you. Going to celebrate a little bit. We're going to go out do some rail fanning to celebrate tomorrow before I meet up with all of my good friends, and just gonna have a nice time. And
that sounds like fun.
Website. Yeah, because someone said last week, they're like, you sound like a contractor, just 2 weeks. Well, I'm going to prove you wrong.
All right. And so do people, for your birthday, do they give you train stuff?
Well, at this point, they try to avoid it because then they know I'm going to talk about it if they do. So at this point, it's just bourbon and dinner. And if we can get by with that and maybe a little crazy karaoke, then we're good.
Wow. In your words, don't threaten me with a good time.
Hey, listen,
all right. So,
you guys and anybody in the audience, if you're in Virginia, you're welcome to join me. I'd love to have you, and I'm serious.
And film it. Film it, please.
Absolutely.
Pictures or it didn't happen. All right, man. You be safe out there. Get them before they get you. Happy birthday. And now Ron, we've got to figure out
Happy
something
birthday,
to get
Phil.
his birthday.
Happy birthday, buddy. 29 looks good on you, buddy.
Thank
you.
Really
does.
Yeah.
We'll buy you a drink now that you're legal.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Bell, ladies and gentlemen, our Washington, D.C. correspondent. And with that, we will continue with the Daily Mojo in just a moment.
Taste the honey sauce. Like I like it. Ooh, yeah. This is the Daily Mojo Friday.
And we love our honey sauce.
Yeah, we do.
Do we not? Especially on slather it up with some honey sauce on a Friday.
On a biscuit.
And we are. Did you say you want to lick it?
No. Put it on a biscuit.
Okay.
I said biscuit. I like biscuits.
Because I'm pretty sure I heard you say you want to lick it.
I didn't say I would lick it.
I kind of think you did, but it's okay. Not My Dog says Perkins was just a message board for the deep state, attorney-client privilege. Yeah. Yes. Because I look at things like that, and it's like, all right, going after a private entity, is that a good thing? I mean, obviously, no. In any normal situation, I would say no, it's not. But what we're seeing in D.C. right now with what Trump is doing, again, he is. And purists are going to say, well, you can't ever do that. You can't ever color outside the line, because then you're just as guilty as the other guys who are coloring outside the lines. And I get that. I understand it. But is it the Buddha? Who were the which ones were the monks who wouldn't believe in violence and they wouldn't defend themselves? Gosh, I can't remember the what type of monks they were. Anyway,
I'll look.
It's the same concept. The people on the other side of this argument are never going to play by the rules. They're going to they're going to yank the football out from underneath us. They are going to hit us over the head with the bat every time, even though it's against the rules. And at some point, you have to get up and you have to hit them as hard as you can in the face and continue hitting them until they don't get up. Because otherwise, they'll kill us. And I don't really think that's hyperbole at this point.
It looks like it's the Buddhist monks.
Okay, so it is the Buddhist monks. Yeah, they would...
not the Shaolin. The Shaolin are martial artists.
They will defend themselves.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Monks who adhere to strict pacifist principles like those within the Theravada tradition of Buddhism would generally avoid self-defense, viewing violence as harmful and against their core beliefs.
And I don't like violence either, but at some point, if you don't get down in the gutter with them and beat the ever-loving dog shit out of them, then
it's just a bully situation. And it
going
remains
to go on forever.
Yep.
So, Bob Teagarden says, fun fact, I absolutely love Phil Bell. Fun fact number 2, he looks completely different than I pictured him in my mind.
You've not seen Phil Bell before today? Phil Bell is a good dude, man.
Yes, it says trains are cool. Who doesn't love trains? Probably George Caldwell and Doc Thompson.
He's not a fan. Well, at least not now.
Wow. So for Phil Bell and we're late on Michael B, but
happy birthday.
Once a year we celebrate with stupid hats and plastic plates. The fact that you were able to make another trip around the sun. And the whole clan gathers round and gifts and laughter do abound. And we let out a joyful sound and sing that stupid song. Happy birthday, now you're 1 year older. Happy birthday, your life still isn't over. Happy birthday, you did not accomplish much, but you didn't die this year, I guess that's good enough.
No, it's been 6 years ago now.
So let's drink to your fading health and hope you don't remind yourself your chance of finding fame and wealth decrease with every year. Does it feel like you're doing laps and eating food and taking naps and hoping that someday perhaps your life will hold some cheer? Happy birthday! What have you done that matters? Happy birthday! You're starting to get fatter. Happy birthday! It's downhill from now on. Try not to remind yourself your best years are all gone.
If cryogenics were all free, then you could live like Walt Disney and live for all eternity inside a block of ice. But instead your time is set, this is the only life you get. And though it hasn't ended yet, sometimes you wish it might. Happy birthday! You wish you had more money. Happy birthday! Your life's so sad it's funny. Happy birthday! How much more can you take? But your friends are hungry, so just cut the stupid cake. Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday, dear.
Bill, Stanley,
Quincy Jones.
Dickie.
Well, he would be a year older if he wasn't dead. This is his birthday. Let's see, Tanner Ogg is 28. Who else's birthday? It's also Cash Doll, Zhang, Nigel Nig. It's an odd name.
Unfortunately,
NG, how do you pronounce that? It's NG. Is that how you say it?
Ing.
Oh, look like Nig. What do I know? Albert Einstein, born in 1879. Simone Biles and Steph Curry. You see, if I didn't know how you pronounced Steph Curry, I would have sworn it was Stephen Curry. But I know there's no E-N on the end of it. More exciting winning. Lord have mercy. Hang on a second. I've got to. I don't know why that computer just disappears all the time, but it does.
More exciting winning.
Zoom room?
It is the Zoom room. It's a little quiet over there today.
It's kind of quiet. Well, who's got the widescreen?
That would be Lep.
How's his all wide and everybody else is all narrow?
Just a different camera. Timmy's using his phone. He's in his truck. There he is right there. Now Timmy's wide. Free range prisoners using his phone. There's Whiskey.
What up, my ninjas?
Whiskey in the truck, too. There's Lep. Good morning. Misinformation, Erica's there, and Kathy in the Berg. We're missing a little beaver this morning. Don't know where she's at.
I mean, that's the case most of the time. Most of the time. So if you want to be part of the Zoom Room crew, the information is on your screen, and you can get in there whenever you want to. I think they have their own set of benefits over there.
Yeah.
The benefits at the Postal Service, not things are. This was coming. You had to know this was coming. Things are going to start thinning out at the Postal Service. They have signed an agreement with Doge.
Wow.
They're going to cut 10,000 workers. A broken business model. No shit, Sherlock.
But we've known that for years, man.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's why. It's hence the comment. The Postmaster General informed members of Congress yesterday he has signed an agreement with the General Services Administration and Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency to cut 10,000 workers and billions of dollars from the U.S. Postal Service budget. The bleeding was profuse every day. I mean, this is one of those things where all of us, I think, were like, why can't they just stop bleeding there? There's a reason they're bleeding. Let's stop the bleeding. And because we're not, it's the common sense stuff like this that really makes you scratch your head and wonder what the hell. He wrote a letter to Congress, and Louis DeJoy says he lamented, in the words of this author, he lamented that the Postal Service has a broken business model that was not financially sustainable without critically necessary and core change. And again, at the heart of this, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was unions and stupid management. Is that fair?
Probably. Sounds fair.
I'm starting to see a pattern here, and I mean, if you're a union person, I get it. I mean, unions are really good, especially for the management of unions. I've been a member of a couple. They've not been all that in a bag of chips to me. But yeah, you're a union guy, and you're working on the line at General Motors, and making a pretty penny. Which, have we gotten rid of those, by the way, yet?
Well, what, pennies or pretty pennies?
Pennies.
Yeah,
pennies.
No, I think we're still got them.
Get rid of the damn penny. You're making $1 bazillion. Define a bazillion. You know what I mean? And what you're doing is going and tightening the bolt. Nice work if you can get it, but it's not sustainable over the long haul. I don't blame you for taking the gig. Why not? But if you step outside the situation and look back in, it's like, man, that unless people are willing to pay $200,000 for a car, which some are willing to pay $100,000. Boy, it's kind of like the tennis shoes I used to get. I refuse to buy. I refuse to pay any more than $40,
dude,
for a pair of tennis shoes. Try that now.
Yeah,
and then of course, God being the comedian that he is, now I have to buy shoes that are like $150.
Those are Hokas,
just so my feet don't hurt.
That's all I get now are the Hokas because they are brilliant shoes. They really are. But damn it. And it's funny because they wear out as fast as the $40 shoes.
Yes, they do. And what was it? The Skechers Shape Ups.
Oh, those were the ones with the rounded sole.
I loved those.
Did it work your calf out? Did you have big, huge calves?
I had my mother's calves.
Yeah.
And I've always had big calves. I can't wear skinny. Even when I was skinny, I couldn't wear skinny jeans because my calves are really big. But you know what they say about big calves? And it's true. But you can't eventually, the prices, like with the shoes, everything's gone up. With cars, that's why, was it Drive Time that is so, their commercials are genius. They've got the little slider thingy. It's like, I can decide how much I'm going to put down.
How much I want to pay per month
is going to be.
You don't even look at the total cost of that car, do you?
Nope. Like, I only pay $400 a month for 12 years.
Oh, wow.
I mean, my truck, when my truck was brand new, it had a sticker price, and this was 2011, of $70,000. And I bought it in 2015, I think, for $30,000.
Yeah.
And the dealership did not want to. I just sold the house, and the dealership did not want to take a check. They're like, finance. I'm like, no. I almost got them walked out because they wouldn't. We're not going to take cash. It's like, this is insane.
It is insane.
I was so pissed. I was like,
they lose the interest and all that.
The stupid kicked in. I was like, this is stupid, and I'm about to leave because you won't take my money, you morons. But it was because of they wanted the interest from the loans.
You remember back in the day when the longest loan you could get was 48 months?
Mm-hmm.
Now you can get 72, 84. It's crazy.
Longest car loan period.
What is it, 96
longest
now?
car loan, 96.
Yep.
8
years. Freaking years. Yeah.
Well, yeah, 8 years.
And you paid twice the amount you bought the car for by the time you're done paying. Yeah.
My first new truck was a 92 Toyota 4x4. I still wish I had not sold that truck, but water under the bridge. Anyway, I got it on a lease in 1992. And it was a 5-year lease, and it was $341 a month.
But you could only drive a certain number of miles a year, right?
Yeah, but
yeah.
Because my plan the whole time at the end of it was to, and I think maybe leases were different then. It seemed to make more sense. My intention was always to buy it at the end of the lease, and looking back, I paid more than the truck was, but I love that truck. I mean, it was the best truck. 311,000 miles when I sold it, and probably just a stupid oxygen sensor needed to be changed on it. Only put one clutch in it. Or did I? I mean, I think it may have still had the original clutch. 2 sets of brakes in 311,000 miles. Original engine.
Wow.
I know. It was just the best.
Was it gas or diesel?
But gas.
Gas.
Well, it was, before they had names for the truck.
Yeah.
It was just it was a truck. It was a Toyota truck, and that was it. It had the extended cab. But yeah, now it's like $500 a month. That's my payment for 12 years. Things are going to be great. We have to make a hole, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
This is kind of, since we make the donuts every day, this is kind of like the donut hole. See what I did there?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Can you get a DUI without being under the influence of anything?
Isn't that what a DUI is? Being under the influence?
Think. Oh, wait till you hear this story. We'll do it next on the Daily Mojo.
Use the hashtag What I Learned Today so we can reach out and touch you. The Daily Mojo.
Space Hippie on vacay over in the Rumble chat room. Odds. I've never been able to watch the stream in the app. I have to use Rumble to watch.
You have to use a Rumble directly?
Crazy lady, I've been watching the show in the app since the app came out and never had issues. And now since the video stream is Rumble in the app, it messes up all the time. Works fine until 8:15 using iPhone. We're working on it. I mean, we know that there's something going on. We just aren't.
Look, here's some honesty for you. Here's some opening the kimono. We got pulled off of Boxcast, which is where we were broadcasting that everybody loved that layout. The problem is that we're not on Boxcast anymore as a player. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't go get, a monthly subscription to be on Boxcast, because that player works flawlessly, and Brad and I have talked about that before. That's why I liked it. But we're not over there anymore because the place where the company we were feeding through, is that how that works? Is that what we were doing? That was hosting us over there, is no longer hosting us there. So we'd have to go get our own now. But and it's possible that I'll just go ahead and decide to do that. I mean, Rumble makes us money, dude. Rumble makes us money, and we need that money. So that's why. Yeah,
but on the flip side of that coin, if no one can watch it on the Rumble,
I don't disagree.
Then
we'll talk about it. We'll get this situation taken care of. So please accept our apologies.
So in Nashville, I saw this because I was looking up things from Nashville. And did I record that? Hang on a second. I can't remember if I mean, that was so long ago now. That was all of...
a month and a half, maybe?
No, about an hour and a half ago.
Oh. I thought you were talking about your trip to Nashville.
No. Yeah. I was just... so this... and Nashville and surrounding areas have no shortage of cops.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you that. They have no shortage of cops. Oh, here it is. No, that's what I did. Hang on a second. I don't have to go through all that. I just have to put it over here. Once you discover how, if on a website,
how to get the video, yeah,
how to figure out where the video is and just yank it out of the web page, your life will never be the same, because you'll never have to watch any of this other crap in it. But so this is in Hendersonville, just up the road from Nashville, and I'll just play it and you decide.
He has autism. So does he? Yes.
Okay, so that's the parents of an autistic Sumner County man who's become the latest sober driver to be arrested for a DUI.
It's the new development in our sobering problem investigation. Innocent Tennesseans charged with a crime they didn't commit.
So these parents tell our chief investigative reporter, Jeremy Finley, their son's disability was not taken into account when deputies suspected him of driving drunk.
Just moments after 21-year-old Charlie Hatch is pulled over, the rapid-fire questions start.
You have anything to drink tonight?
No, sir.
At youth group?
No, sir.
Before youth group?
No, sir.
After youth group?
No, sir.
Nothing in the car?
No, sir. You may be a bit impressed how quickly he answers, but soon he has confusion.
Why are we stumbling? Why are we slurred of speech? You used your truck for balance and we're stumbling a little bit.
Because my legs are tired from a 12-and-a-half-hour shift.
Even though Hatch explains he just left youth group after working all day, Sumner County Deputy Gabriel Yap has his doubts about his sobriety. The warrant reads, after a Hendersonville officer saw Hatch cross the double yellow line 6 times, Yap notes Hatch had slurred speech and had to restart the walk and turn test. Plus, Deputy Yap had asked Hatch a question that's required before a field sobriety test is given.
We have any medical problems? No, sir. None? Nothing wrong with our eyes? No, sir.
The end result? Handcuffs.
Right.
Interesting. Why would he
What?
Why would he answer the
what?
medical question with no?
Well, is autism a medical?
I don't know.
Problem?
I guess that was kind of the question I was
Is
asking myself.
ADHD a medical problem? I mean, he's not taking drugs. We're aware of. The toxicology test came back negative. He doesn't
No
see
alcohol
it as
in
a
his system
disability.
at all. Yeah.
Nope. No alcohol, no drugs.
Yeah.
12-hour workday. Now, did he cross the yellow line? Yes, absolutely. Was
6
he
times,
tired?
apparently.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's according to the report there, if you believe it.
Hmm.
So the issue here is, what from the cop standpoint. Well, what if the cop had let him go and
he had fallen asleep because he looked like he was tired. I'll be honest with you.
or he was right, or head on another car, whatever. Then would the cop have been found at fault for not arresting him? But at the same time, was arrest the only thing that he could do? I mean, it seems a little harsh that we've gotten to that point.
Realistically, he could have put him in the back seat without handcuffs and had him call his parents and say, "Come
why
get
put him in the back seat?"
Well,
I mean, I don't want to sit in the back seat of a cop car either.
Okay.
You ever sat in the back seat of a cop car?
Had him call his parents. I mean, look, the police officer was going down the drunk road as it was, DUI road. There was no stopping that. There was already suspicion there. So,
yeah, and I mean, the rapid fire. That's why when you see these recommendations, don't answer questions. This is why. Don't answer questions. Because if you don't answer questions, they can't say you had slurred speech. I hate being the bad guy. It's like, because I've always been, hey, be polite when you get pulled over and, do the right thing and the right thing will happen. Guess what? Not so much anymore. And you try to do the right thing and they'll wrap that rope right around your neck and yank it tight.
Yeah.
And it sucks. So he spent the night in jail. Innocent guy.
But why did he spend the night? If they're going to do a drug test, did they not ask him to blow? Did he not pass that? Was there zero alcohol in his body? Why would he have had to spend the night?
So here is the report says he's kind of slurring his speech a little bit. I checked his eyes. Eyes are not good. But what the officer says is in the body cam footage, then he took over the investigation.
Well, you're asking, number one, the cops are asked to make a subjective call all the time like that.
Mm-hmm. You heard the question, anything to drink tonight? No, sir. For youth group? No, sir. During youth group? No, sir. And see, that's another tactic, asking you the rapid fire. Because you're going, I would be like, damn, why are you talking so fast? Have you had something to drink tonight?
Are you on something?
Right. It's like, man, dude, you sound like you're on cocaine or something. I'm not real comfortable with you here being next to me. And the walking in a straight line thing, try that sober sometime. It ain't easy. And then you're supposed to count at this. And have you ever had to do a sobriety test out there?
No.
All right. When they tell you what they give you the directions. What? Hold on. You want me to do what? And then count at the same time? Or, I mean, the point of the sobriety test is to make you look drunk. Sorry, but that's what they are. And it's intimidating. Number one, you get pulled over, the red lights and all that. You're going to be nervous.
Yep.
It's really tough to do. Let's see. Why are we stumbling? That irritated the shit out of me. Why are we stumbling? Why are we slurred speech?
I mean, evidently they called his parents, or he did, because they showed up to the scene, right?
Yep. They he called. Well, yeah, because you get You get the one phone call at.
Yeah, but at the scene, weren't they at the scene
jail.
or were they at the jail?
He may have. Hang on a second. Yeah, that because they were interviewing them.
It just, I
because
couldn't
that was
tell.
body camera
Yeah.
footage. Yeah. No, you're right. Hang on a second. How did they get to the results? Subsequently, don't lose a job. Oh, by the way, he did subsequently lose a job. They weren't sure if that was related to it. If you had doubts, the Hatch repeatedly crossed the family's attorney. Told the investigation he's reviewed the body camera footage. He doubts that Hatch crossed the line in the first place.
Even if he did, I would have said he fell asleep or he dozed off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's at night. He worked a 12-hour shift. He was tired. His legs hurt, he said. Again, it's a subjective call. And like you said, the cop's probably going to lean on the safety aspect of things. What if I let him go and he crashes head on into somebody else?
One of two things. Yeah, it's either the power trip.
Yep.
That a lot of cops are on, and they want to always be right, or it's an honest cop and they want to, again, lean into the safety thing and not have it on their conscience that they let somebody go and that person ran into, because that would suck too. So it's a tough situation. I get that. In Tennessee, 600 sober drivers have been arrested for DUI over a 7-year period. That's a lot. But the TV station reached out to the sheriff's office for an interview, but they got an email from the sheriff saying, in any arrest, including DUI-related incidents, our deputies are trained to and must act based on probable cause as required by law. The decision to make an arrest is not taken lightly and is based on observed behavior, field sobriety, test performance, and the totality of the circumstances at the time. It's important to remember that an arrest is not a conviction. Every individual is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, where all evidence, including toxicology reports, can be fully considered. I can assure you that our deputies are trained to make decisions based on objective observations and state law. If new evidence, such as a toxicology report, later indicates sobriety, that information is reviewed through the proper judicial
I wonder if
channels.
his employer sees it that way. Because we don't know what he got fired for, but I wonder if his employer sees it.
And again, he was deprived of his liberty for the night.
Yeah.
It's just 10 hours in jail, it says. Months after his arrest, his blood work came back with no alcohol and no drugs in the system. Months.
Well, in a field sobriety test where you're blowing into the tube, that's not gonna that's not gonna give you drug stuff anyways, just alcohol.
Right.
So they had to have done a blood test.
Well,
which
remember
they did.
what was that? What was that story that the dude who had the two blow up dolls in the back seat of the car, and he got pulled over, and he was sober as a judge, but they still arrested him
because he had blow up dolls in the back.
Because he had the blow up dolls.
Wow.
I mean, it gets you. I mean, we live in weird times. Dark Jedi 67, if they think you're drunk and put you in jail in Virginia, they will not let you bail out or have someone come get you. Well, really? Gifted Guru says, I'm on the spectrum, but I take nothing for it. I function with most of society. I'm starting to think I'm on the spectrum. Well, I do identify as somebody. You can't question me.
No, I was going to say I probably would agree with that.
I'm special.
We're all a little bit special, Brad.
Not as special as me, because I'm a specialist.
I'm damn well special as you.
I'm
Might not be more
specialer
specialer, but I'm special as you.
Younger generation are drinking like we did, but departments still need the income. Not my dog says that. Younger generation are drinking like we did, but are drinking like we did. I don't know. See, next anything, trust Ron. What? DMXDM says, I trust Ron to make the sausage. Do you?
Yeah.
Pickle Squirrel, I would fail. I would fail, not fondle the sausage.
Yeah, I know.
Make
the sausage,
it's a big, big difference. Pickle Squirrel says, I would fail a sobriety test stone cold sober. My knees are goofy and I'd fall over. And I'm telling you, you put nerves into the situation.
It's hard to do any of that field sobriety stuff.
Yes. They are designed to make you fail.
Yeah.
They're designed, everything at a traffic stop is designed to make you appear guilty. Every little bit. The witty repartee, the friendly banter, that's designed to elicit information from you and to make you look guilty.
Dude, if I get pulled over, my first worry is because if I'm sitting below the cop's eye level, which I would be in a vehicle, unless it's my truck,
You can
of course.
see that you're
my
masturbating?
my wonky eye gives me away, and it makes them think that I'm. You see what I'm saying? That's my scare. Because when I look up, that eyelid doesn't raise, so it looks like I'm tired or sleepy or drugged.
Open your
or whatever.
eyes, boy.
Dude,
Yes, sir, they are open.
I had a drill instructor get on me one time in basic training because I wouldn't open my eye. I'm like, I can't, sir.
Sir, I can't, sir. My dad, I bet that did get awkward after a while.
Oh, man. He thought I was giving him the stink eye or something because he didn't like it.
I said open your eye. We got a little bit more of the Daily Mojo because it's Friday after all. It is
Friday.
Freedom Friday. No taxes. Should make everybody happy. We'll be back in a second.
Thank God it's Friday.
And I'll bet your mother had a loud bark.
The Daily Mojo.
You got any new stuff behind you on the wall back there? I see the clapboard. What's that clapboard from?
What's it from?
Yeah, is it just a prop or was it something you used on TV?
A clapboard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we used it on. I mean, yes, we use it on TV. It's a tool.
Yeah,
looks really important though, doesn't it? I think
it
your
does.
name's on it somewhere.
Oh, it is.
A UN judge has been found guilty of keeping a woman as a slave in the United Kingdom. And she's black. Ugandan UN judge Lydia Mugambe told police she had diplomatic immunity when they arrested her for keeping a woman as an unpaid servant in her Oxfordshire home. Mugambe tricked her victim into coming to the UK, forcing her to work without pay and threatening her when she resisted. A jury at Oxford Crown Court, not to be confused with the Oxford Clown Court, convicted her on multiple charges, including facilitating travel for exploitation and forcing someone to work. Her alleged co-conspirator, Ugandan diplomat John Leonard Mugewa, has also fled back to Uganda. I'm telling you, you gotta keep your eyes open this day and age. Am I right?
Yep.
The economy, again, doing weird. And why is nobody... Again, it sucks when you lose your job. It really does. But when we're doing it in the federal government, it's Trump's agenda when that's happening. Out here, though, in corporate America, is it anybody's fault? Other than, it's got to be somebody's fault, right? There has to be a reason that the layoffs are happening. It can't all just be because corporations just want to hold on to more of their money and not have people working for them. So there's a reason for it. The following 2 years, and this is over at Business Insider, so again, it's kind of a left-leaning publication. Layoffs and other workforce reductions continuing in 2025 following 2 years of significant job cuts across tech, media, finance, manufacturing, retail, and energy. The reasons vary. In a recent World Economic Forum survey, 41% of companies worldwide said they expected to reduce their workforces over the next 5 years because of...
What?
Anybody? Bueller? AI. CNN, Dropbox, IBM, all have... really, CNN is reducing their workforce because of AI? I thought it was because they just lied. Well, Adidas is cutting 500 jobs in Germany. For those of you pronouncing it wrong all these years.
Adidas. Brad.
It is Adidas. They said that they will be reducing the size of their workforce in the Germany, 500 jobs. That's a reduction of 9% at the company headquarters. In a statement to Business Insider, an Adidas spokesperson said the company had grown, quote, too complex because of our current operating model, end quote. Isn't that what's happened at our government, too? Hasn't the whole thing become too complex for the current operating model? To set Adidas up for long-term success, we are now starting to look at how we align our operating model with the reality of how we work. That seems like it would be common sense. You've seen the commercials for Ally on television, I'm sure, and online, the online bank. They are laying off 500 of their 11,000 employees. That is 5% of their workforce. As we continue to right-size our company, we made the difficult decision to selectively reduce our workforce in some areas. They're offering severance, outplacement support, and the opportunity to apply for openings at Ally, so you can still come back. It's kind of funny because I've been fired from a place and told I could not ever apply for a job there again.
Me too.
Weird, right? And then was called back.
Twice, actually.
A couple of weeks.
Oh, and then was called
Strange.
back? Yeah, I didn't get called back.
Yeah, hadn't really thought that one through, but that's okay. BlackRock cutting 1% of its workforce. 200 people out of their 21,000 person workforce. Blue Origin. This surprised me. Blue Origin is laying off 10% of their workforce.
How many people is that?
More than 1,000 employees.
Oh, wow. That's Bezos, right? That's the spaceship.
David Limp is the CEO of Blue Origin now. Because Bezos gave that up, right, when what was he doing? He gave that up right before he went into space, didn't he?
Maybe.
Remember he went on the rocket?
He did.
Before he did that, see, the company's priority going forward is to scale our manufacturing output and launch Cadence with speed, decisiveness, and efficiency for our customers. Okay, that is a really fancy way with a lot of words to say we're going to try to manufacture. We're going to make things that people will buy, and we don't want to make more than what they're buying. We don't want to make less than what they're buying. We just want to make what. Yeah. Engineering, research, and development and management are going to be cut. Boeing is cutting 400 people from the moon rocket program. Wait, they still have a moon rocket program?
I thought Boeing was out of that business already.
I was going to say, did they learn nothing from the 57
stranding astronauts on the space station
up there that wouldn't start? I don't know. Just tweak the carburetor a little. It's probably running too rich. They got that thing home, right? They finally got.
They got it home, but the astronauts are still there. 8 months later,
still there.
Yeah, they were supposed to go get them on Tuesday. I think they're going to try again today. I think they're taking a set of astronauts up there and they're bringing the other ones home.
I mean, on one hand, that's like a really, that's a double-edged sword. On one hand, it would be so cool to be on the space station, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
I'd do it in a heartbeat. Yeah,
badass views. But at some point, you go, all right, I've seen it.
I've seen it. I've been here enough. I'm tired. Let's go home.
I want to go home. I'm tired of my pee floating in front of me when I pee. But that's got to be weird. But 8 months, and you know the real bad part about that is when I heard this. When you come back down, gravity is a bitch.
It is. But you can think about this. They left their families here, right? The astronauts that went up. We'll see you in a week. We'll be home next week. It's supposed to be 8 days. We'll be home next week. A year later, what the hell? And is it true that Biden wouldn't let Elon go get them? That's what I've heard. Biden would not let Elon go up there and get them. Why?
Lessons learned from Jimmy Carter and Iran. Well, according to the New York Post, stranded astronaut confirms Biden shot down Musk's offer to bring the pair home. Absolutely factual. One of the NASA astronauts trapped on the International Space Station said he believes Elon Musk's claim that the Biden administration rejected the SpaceX CEO's offer to bring him home. Barry Butch Wilmore made the comment on Tuesday during an in-orbit press conference with fellow castaway Sunita Williams 9 months after their Boeing Starliner capsule malfunctioned and left them stuck up there. One question asked about Musk's recent claim that former President Joe Biden had intentionally stalled their rescue mission for political reasons. In an earlier question, Wilmore denied that politics had anything to do with the team's delayed departure, but he seemed to shift his stance when answering the later question. I can only say that Mr. Musk, what he says is absolutely factual. I believe him. Yeah, he didn't. I mean, that's the big story you remember about Carter is that the hostages, they botched the rescue attempt.
I remember that.
And then
killed a lot
of as soon as Reagan's in there, ta-da, here you go. Yeah, he didn't. Plus, Afghanistan, the Fuster-Cluck withdrawal from there, the people hanging off of an airplane. Yeah, he said, Musk said it was working with him, Musk, who donated $288 million to Donald Trump's presidential campaign, told Fox News' Sean Hannity that working with him to bring the astronauts back would have made Trump look good and that Biden didn't want the publicity so close to the presidential election. That and Kamala's chair. If it hadn't been for those two things, we would have had Kamala as president, right? That is just, surprising? No. Nothing surprises me at this point coming out of the pit in Washington. They don't care about, the space program has never really given a shit about the astronauts, quite frankly. That goes all the way back to the 60s.
I hate to hear that, too.
But it's true. Even the astronauts know. And look, how many crazy people have gotten into the astronaut program, too? Remember the chick that drove across the country?
Oh, wearing the diaper? Yeah.
Granted, love is love, and sometimes you'll do stupid things for love. But that's right up there at the top. And you got to fly into space?
Yeah.
I don't know. Seems like some better decisions could be made, but that's just me. Shall we?
Yep.
What do you mean it's let's go?
That right there, 2 hours of information and entertainment. We're happy, we were sad. We covered the gamut of emotions here on today's Daily MoJo, the Freedom Friday edition for March 14th, year of our Lord 2025, right? Yeah, it still is. Let's find out if anybody learned a damn thing. We'll start over in the Rumble chat room, which is probably a mistake because I have no idea. Ewan Guru
that
says
conversation
is
scattered over there.
They are all over the place. I'm pretty sure they're texting under the influence. We're going to make them all stand up and march in a straight line. I wouldn't do it if I were you, but hey, that's just me. Over on the X, where things make so much more sense. Kathy in the Berg says, time for our ears to cry. No more voices of deliciousness. Have a good weekend.
No more voices of deliousness. Bless her. Deliousness. I like sandwiches.
Of tears coming out of your ears.
Yeah.
That would be ugh. Ugh. Dr. Free Range Prisoner, I believe mush as well. But did I have a stroke again? I believe mush as well.
Musk. I believe Musk as well.
Okay, it says mush.
I know it does, but he meant Musk.
Okay, if you look at the stranded astronaut statement, it is belief that Biden left him stranded. What is the belief based on? Show the receipts. All right. And maybe it was a privileged conversation. Oh, by the way, the Pelletier thing, we never really got into that, did we?
No.
Saying John Pelletier, the Maui police chief, saying that credit card receipts show that he was in Vegas at the time.
So there's your
that
proof.
He's being accused. But that's not proof.
It's not.
Of course it's not. Anybody could have been using that credit card. I mean, again, but who knows? Peekapoo, poor Ron, getting told by Bard to keep his eyes open right after explaining how he can't do that. Peekapoo, you got to keep him off balance because otherwise he starts peeing on the rug and everything.
Whatever, dude.
And over in the Daily Mojo chat room, so she just went back to Uganda. Well, at least her partner in crime did. Ron?
Yes, Bradley?
Keep your eyes open all weekend, would you?
Will do.
Be on the watch. For the rest of you, remember that we the people must hang together, otherwise we shall surely hang separately. Sic semper tyrannis, resist stupid, and goodnight.com.
Wherever you are. Have a good weekend, everybody. See ya.
See you tomorrow morning.
Watch and listen at thedailymojo.com.